bring in divorce and family law attorney Lexie Rigden. Lexie, gosh, I just think this has been such a disappointing week in headline and plot twist for so many people, particularly for those who have loved the movie. And at this point, it's all very much he said, they said. And I don't think people know what to make of it. Legally speaking, does one side seem to be in better standing or more believable to you?
Not necessarily. I think when the news first came out, it was very sad. It's like the fairy tale was over.
Yeah.
And then when you started hearing what the family was saying, it started to paint a different picture. And then they have other people like the author of the book coming in and saying, no, this is exactly what happened. So I think that we're not very close to the truth necessarily. And I'm not accusing either side of purposefully lying or anything of that nature. I just think that both sides may have a misunderstanding, especially all these years later, of what actually took place.
Yeah. And as we know, Michael moved in with them when he was 16. Court records show his conservatorship papers were signed, 2 months after his 18th birthday? What would be the main reason that a family would have chosen conservatorship over adoption, especially considering that some legal experts say there was never a reason for Michael Oher to have entered a conservatorship with the family? They didn't need his NFL money. What would be the reason for that?
Well, that's exactly right, because conservatorship and adoption are very different. Now, the family has come out and said that they did the conservatorship to get around the NCAA recruiting rules, which does not ring true necessarily to me, although I'm certainly no sports expert. If they were trying to get rid of the appearance of impropriety by being boosters for Ole Miss by becoming his conservators, it doesn't seem like having legal authority over his decision-making would be a means to an end for that. So I've certainly never heard of anybody entering a conservatorship in this context. And most of the time, conservatorships are entered because somebody can't manage their own affairs, which doesn't appear to be the case here. So the excuse for it is it's a little odd. I mean, it doesn't necessarily ring true. And the fact that it's still in effect all these years later and it hasn't been dissolved also kind of lends credibility to Michael Oher's belief that it was kind of legally akin to adoption, because there's no other reason this would still be in effect.
Well, that's the interesting thing, though, is because he's now 37 and he wrote about conservatorship in his 2011 book. You're telling me at 37 years old, you've never Googled what that really means? And also he was saying he didn't realize that he wasn't legally adopted until this February. He was getting financial affairs in order, but he made $30 million in the NFL. I mean, are we really to buy that, especially as his new book is hitting store shelves?
Right. And I completely understand that. I think you could go both ways. I think it's a common sense thing to say, Google it. You're making a lot of money now, and you obviously knew the term conservatorship. We've heard it so much with Britney Spears. Nothing rang a bell at the time. But also somebody on his side had basically come out and said he did think that this was akin to an adoption. He didn't realize what this was. He trusted the family, and he was making enough money in the NFL that he didn't necessarily know what he was missing or need the money. So he wasn't really thinking about it until all these years later, it occurred to him that there was something off. So it's like I said, at first blush, it seemed very one-sided. And now that everything is coming out, I think the truth is somewhere, and we're not there yet.
Yeah, completely agree. And I know the Tuoys have come out and said they do intend on ending Oher's conservatorship if what he so wishes. Lexie Rigden, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.